GM everyone. Okay, I'm here from the Sarmensi account. Perfect.
Awesome.
Awesome. Welcome everyone. This is our first ownership report, number one. We are waiting. Sorry, let me change the title of the space. While we wait, everything is joining right now to the space. And yeah, let's wait a few minutes more so we can have more people joining. As always, thank you, X, for this great technology. X spaces are working pretty good every day. Thank you very much for this amazing technology. Of course, I'm joking here. Okay, so today is a great day. I'm going to start introducing this space. It's a new format, a new way to communicate what is happening around the ownership ecosystem. Um, we have right now with ownership, we have the ownership podcast, we have the ownership radio, we have the ownership forum, the ownership roadshow, and this is the ownership report. So what we are going to do here is try to amplify the ownership ecosystem, telling everyone what is happening around the DAOs, governance, tokenization, and everything. So today it's an amazing day here. It's sunny day. I hope everyone is having a good day. And so, without any more introduction, I'm welcome Alpha Football Club. Thanks for joining us here. Pretty excited about. We already interacted a little in the past. I'm pretty excited about the public raise funds you are doing, and hope we can tell us everything about what you are doing here that is pretty innovative. So welcome Alpha Football Club. How are you?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. So it's a pleasure to be here, and big fan of the podcast and what you guys are doing for the space. I'm William Rush. I'm the founder and CEO of Alpha FC, and also the current chairman at Alfredton Town FC, which will be the first tokenized football club.
Perfect. Thank you, William. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I saw a little news about Alpha, the Reds. So Solana sharing the public race. So if we can start like from the beginning, how do you thought about buy a football club and making crypto friendly through a token? How this came to your mind?
Yeah, I mean the idea originally came about in 2021 around the time of Constitution DAO and People Token, and there was this sort of DAO renaissance and this idea of all these people coming together and buying something together. And you saw it create this incredible community of people, even though the purchase of the Constitution was ultimately unsuccessful at auction. I think they were outbid by Ken Griffin. You saw this incredible cult form around this idea of group ownership. And looking at that, I thought, well, there's a copy of the Constitution. There's 12 of these in the world, and it doesn't really do anything. It's a cool thing to buy. Maybe you can speculate on its value appreciating long term, but ultimately it's going to sit in a museum and maybe generate 10K per year that can go into a DAO treasury. I would say that beyond crypto communities, the only sort of communities that are more more wild, more intense, where the fandom is the strongest in the world is in football. And I think football is particularly interesting because emotion is inherent. They're content generating machines. There's always something to play for. There are fights on the pitch. At every level of football, content has really exploded, and fandom is stronger than any other sport in the world. With football, you also have promotion and relegation ability. So if you feasibly any team in the English football pyramid could get promoted to the Premier League. It's very unlikely, but we saw with Wrexham, they started in the National League, which is one tier above us, and they've been promoted 3 straight times, and they're now in the Championship, which is one level below the Prem. So you have that opportunity to increase revenue a huge amount. So the idea is effectively taking crypto capital formation, giving people around the world ownership, beneficial ownership of a real football club, and then seeing how this can change the game for football clubs, and how it can improve ownership overall.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the other thing maybe that born make people excited about is sports. Of course, the football is the biggest one, and maybe politics, and the football and politics are pretty like in the same way sometimes. And as an Argentinian, I can say we have maybe the craziest public in the world. We have some kind of violence, but I saw the hooligans, and I love all that culture and folklore, we say here, and I love it really much. I'm a big fan of football or soccer. Of course, you see my name, and you know why. But here in Argentina, I am a big fan, and it's no brainer. I mean, crypto and clubs, sport clubs are no brainer. You have too many things to do. So the next question comes to my mind is what the token, you are making a public raise, right? You are can you tell us how it's going? How much are you trying to raise? How long is the race going? And how much tokens are you allocating to the community? All the information you can give us is perfect, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So 69% of the total supply is available right now in the public sale, and there's 2 days left in the sale, so it'll end on Sunday. 10% is allocated towards local supporters that they'll get for free, just for being season ticket holders or supporters club members, or just fans, and they'll also be able to earn them from going to matches in the future. 5% will be allocated towards liquidity. 6% will remain with the club, and token holders will be able to vote on how that's allocated. And the remaining 10% will be held by Alpha FC with the intent of rewarding ecosystem members down the line and early supporters. So yeah, I would say the token sale is going very well. Obviously, tough market conditions at the moment, but we've raised over 130,000 so far, and the total target for the sale is 1 million. I think this is quite a reasonable target, given that the football club owns its own ground, which has a fair value easily of over £1 million. And you're not going to find any opportunity to buy a football club for $1 million at this level or above. It's just not possible. So we've seen a lot of incredible response from the community. We've seen a lot of support from Solana within the foundation and from our sponsors, Phantom, Radium, and Bonk. And we're confident that those who join now, those who join the Alpha FC community now, will be the foundation of what's to come. This is really a novel thing. It's the first tokenized football club. It's the first time that a token has been launched for a club that isn't simply a product that's being sold to fans. So we're very excited, and it's taken a lot of time and effort to get to this stage, but we're excited for everyone to come along on the journey with us.
I agree with you totally. My friend, my partner, my brother, Buchan, I see you have the hand raised.
Yes. Hi. Hey, Will. Nice to see you're doing great. I'm so excited about this. I'm a massive fan of football. I'm a massive fan of what you're doing. And I'm doing something similar with Jurassic Finance as well for the hackathon. We're tokenizing dinosaurs, right? Like similar to what you were talking about. And this is kind of a parallel. I love that you're using crypto technology and specifically MetaDAO and this entire ownership push to buy a club. And it's people don't know, but even the sixth league, the English league, it's not that bad. It's pretty strong. And you know about the magic of the FA Cup, right? You could have teams like Alfreton playing against the massive teams year in year out through the FA Cup. These are things that can happen, and it's the magic of the game. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. So really happy to learn more today, and then ask a lot of questions definitely.
Awesome. Really appreciate that. And yeah, it's funny you say that because Macclesfield, which is in our league, actually played Crystal Palace this year in the FA Cup and beat them. So there's definitely this tremendous opportunity, and if you are able to win some of those games, the revenue can be tremendous for a club.
Yeah, and Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last year, right? So they won they beat the champions, right?
Exactly.
So I see Messi's having some
Okay,
technical
sorry,
difficulties.
have some difficult technical issues, but going to keep from here. Can you listen me here? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. Well, let's see. Tell Messi, can you add yourself back up? And until then, I wanted to ask. I guess I want to already start with some questions. So, with the funds that are going to be raised, can you give us some insight into how are you going to use the funds in the next 6 months, 12 months, and where are you going to invest specifically to get revenue back for the token holders?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the funds raised will go towards club operations. So token holders will be able to vote on how to allocate those funds. From a legal perspective, there's a CLG at the top, which token holders are members of, and it's a member-owned organization, so there are no shares, and members are the owners. So this is sort of how ownership is delivered to token holders. Initially, that CLG is going to hold the club entity, 100% of the shares in that, and additionally the BVI company that's issuing the token. There's a graphic of this in our docs and in the article that I posted recently on Twitter. So after the raise is conducted, the BVI company will hold the funds, and token holders will be able to vote on how they're allocated, and that'll be the first proposal that comes out after launch, which we're going to put out today. And those funds can go to, the first one will be for stadium improvements, and it'll be subsidized with Premier League funding. So we receive £250,000 in Premier League funding every 5 years, and that can be allocated, towards pretty much anything that will improve the stadium. So token holders will be able to vote on how those funds are spent. Ultimately, long term, all funds that are, all revenues that are made by the club are going to be reinvested back into the club, and token holders will determine where those funds are invested.
Got it. And let me just connect to that real quick. Do you have any idea how you're going to add price appreciation to the token directly, or is it going to be through this specifically? Are you also maybe going to have some utility, or is it just pure ownership coin structure?
Yeah, I would say the real utility here is the ability to vote and dictate what the club does. So that's everything from, voting on what the stadium name should be, what sponsors should be onboarded, what the kit design should be.
Is it also transfers? Or is that too much?
So, well, ultimately, I don't think people want to have a say in every single decision. Like the same way you and I want to elect a president, or we want elected officials to go and deal with all the nitty gritty of government. It's sort of a similar thesis here. We want people to be able to elect the chairman. The chairman will appoint the manager and manage the finances of the club, the business operations. The manager will manage the on the field operations and sort of the minute strategy of the club. But the owners, the digital owners, will have the ability to hold leadership accountable, and that's the most important thing that we see.
Perfect. Thank you, Vulcan, for supporting me, and amazing questions. And do you have plans for raising more money in the future? Like you already saw, this is a tough moment for the market, and maybe we are handling some kind of bear. So do you plan to make another kind of public raise or OTC deals? Do you have something in mind?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, for this club, this is the public sale. So if you participate in this, wherever the sale ends up, you will have a piece of the club, or many pieces of the club, and there will be no sort of dilution after that, so long as the token holders don't vote for it. If the token holders and digital owners voted in the future that said, we want to issue 10%, then they could go and do that, but that's not at the discretion of Alpha. After the transfer is made into the CLG structure, will lie with the token holders.
Perfect. So the token holders will decide if it's a next raise or a dilution to get more money, let's say, of the ownership. Perfect. I like that. Well, let me ask some hard question, but if tomorrow no, because the sale ends in 2 days. But if after the sale someone looks this with good eyes and wants to acquire the club tomorrow and makes you a good offer, how this will be handled for Alpha Football Club, and how the token holders will be benefit or not here?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to acquire, to become a digital owner of the club, they're welcome to just purchase tokens on the open market as they would with any other token. I think that's really the advantage here, is that anyone around the world that wants to become, that wants to have a say in how the club moves forward, can do that. If an individual or a firm came with an offer to acquire the club, I think that that would go in front of the token holders in the form of a proposal, and the token holders would be able to decide on whether they'd want to. A 75% quorum would be required for a decision of that nature. But ultimately, I think if you look at Bitcoin, like Bitcoin wouldn't be valuable at all if it was held by one person. It's valuable because of the network. A football club, it is valuable if one person owns it. Most of them are owned by one people or a small ownership group. I think that when you look at the potential of this, you're looking at how can we apply the network effects of ownership and what that does to a football club valuation, and that's really what makes this interesting. I think that this has the potential to be much bigger, owned by a community of thousands of digital supporters and beneficial owners than the club just existing on its own.
Perfect. Yeah, Vulcan, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I have a question, and I'm sure also Abe that would like to know, and also Messi, which is, can you tell us about how are you doing governance, and did you at any point think about futarchy governance, and how would that even work in for a football club? So yeah, just interested about the governance model.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely thought about it, and futarchy is something that I've been interested in for a long time. I remain a massive meta bull. I will say, I think a large portion of the utility of these tokens is the ability to vote, as I mentioned. So, just purely owning the club is interesting. Many people want to do that, but actually being able to impact all of those decisions, pro rata, relative to your ownership and the amount of club tokens you hold, I think is even more interesting. I also think, given that this is the first football club that's ever been tokenized, it's a lot easier to swallow. Traditional governance is a lot easier to swallow than saying, yes, this is the first tokenized football club, and it's also governed by these things called decision markets. and then you have to explain about 20 things at once to everyone who might be interested. I think it makes a lot of sense for an entity like Alpha FC, which which plans to be the infrastructure layer for football clubs. So down the line, we'd like to launch many more clubs. We'd like the platform to be the place where you go to buy shares, to trade, buy club tokens, to trade club tokens, to vote on proposals, and tip players and everything in between. And I think for a platform like Alpha FC, it makes a lot more sense to be governed by futarchy. But at the moment, I don't see a futarchy governed football club coming. I think another reason for that is the legal structure that's required of organizations that are operating with futarchic governance at the moment. Right now, for a football club to be fan owned, and many of them are, there is sort of a set structure in place, and what we're doing is taking that structure into the digital era, to go and say, hey, we want to incorporate this club in the Cayman Islands, and by the way, the equity is going to be the same. Tokens are going to be the same thing as equity. That becomes a lot more complex for regulators and for the league.
Well, I see a good way to implement futarchy. I see could be a way to. Okay, give me 1 minute. I think we are back. That was X with the great technology I was talking about. I swear I didn't touch anything. But maybe this get us more people in the crowd. I see new people joining. I think this is working better now. Will, are you here?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry for that. I hope
no worries.
They can improve this in the future. I'm letting join Buchan again. 8-bit. Sent you invitation and approval. So sorry, I lost myself probably what we were talking about futarchy and how to a club could be like improved by futarchy, and how a club could use decision markets to benefit and make the price of the token go up basically, and get more revenues for the club. So I think this will be a pretty bullish experiment, like not using futarchy for the governance itself, but I heard Robin Hanson in the past, like saying, hey, you can like simulate the futarchy governance and you don't have to do it. You can just simulate how it will work, and then if it works better than your votes, you can implement later. So I think this could be a great way to like see if it's work.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely something that'll be worth experimenting as the technology keeps improving. I think, the vast majority of decisions that we'll be making won't be binary. So, you won't be able to just package them into a proposal, like an omnibus proposal, and throw a bunch of things in. But as the tech improves, I think, it could be very interesting down the line.
Perfect. And I have a few more questions, and I think we already went for a lot. So do you plan to have some kind of transparency report, a monthly report? You already have this since you bought the club. How this work?
Yeah. There will be quarterly transparency reports, and there will also be follow-up reports on each individual proposal. So the chairman will put together those quarterly reports, and those would be on all spending that took place over the quarter, everything that everywhere that funds were allocated, and then those per proposal reports will report on what was implemented, how it was implemented. If something wasn't implemented, what's the reasoning for it? We want to make sure that these digital owners will have as much insight as possible into how their decisions are being implemented.
Perfect. Yeah, Vulcan. I see some people joining and maybe having some problems like with the X spaces. I see people from Camino. If you want to join here, Bartiga from Camino, or I saw someone of Colosseum also. If they want to join, you are welcome to ask questions to Alpha and William. And yeah, Vulcan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I have a billion questions, and there's just so many things I could ask and want to know about. One that I just got on my mind now is, those like fan tokens that were listed on Binance, like Roma, some other ones. Can you, like, I feel like a lot of retail got access to those type of tokens, right? Because they sponsored the actual clubs. I think Roma, I think Atletico Madrid, some more. They have like a fan token. And it was crazy big back in 2021. I'm sure you know about this. So what did they attempt to do those tokens, and how are you fundamentally different? Of course, we know about futarchy. I mean, we know about the ownership side, but can you tell a little bit why did those tokens fail?
Yeah. So those were Chiliz that launched all of those fan tokens. They were immensely popular at the time, and this has been tried out in sports many times. And I think there are two sort of major mistakes that are made by people who have tried to mix crypto and sports in the past. I think in this case, this is a company that's selling a product to fans. It's it's a fan token that provides a very small regimented amount of utility, which is voting on a jersey here or there, but functionally much less power than even traditional sort of fan-owned clubs that hold a board meeting twice a year are going to get. You could also look at Wagmi United, who raised about 5 mil selling NFTs and ended up buying Crowley Town. Those NFTs are now worthless because they ultimately didn't give any sort of control or ownership to the holders. I think Chili's the example that you gave, where you have all of these incredible clubs that launch their own fan tokens. They ended up extracting about 400 million from fans around the world, and those are down about they're all down 90+% from their highs at this point, with the majority being down 98 or 99%. So you can see that there's this clear demand for people to want to own assets that represent their club. Like people want to be able to do something beyond just bet on a club, right? Like if I like my team, I don't want to just gamble on it and have that either I make double my money or I lose all my money. I could place a futures bet on the season. Maybe they do well this season, and I think they make the playoffs. I could bet on that, but that's also binary. For most clubs, there are no assets that actually that actually reflect the performance of the club. So and that give you ownership and that give you control. So that was the goal here: is how do we launch an asset on chain that gives the holders real beneficial ownership of a sports team, and that's sort of and this is where we've gotten with it.
Perfect. Vulcan, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. I mean, I could just go on and go on because I have so many questions. Next question I would like to ask is, if you had to pick one, what is the main, let's say, focus or main goal, the North Star right now for you? Is it more to achieve bigger things with the football side and the football club, or is it to grow the treasury and grow the token? Of course, it's both. But if you had to choose one, which would you say is the higher priority for the club? The token and the tokenization and the crypto side, and having more money and finances, or actually going through the leagues, making a better squad, and potentially playing in the Premier League?
Yeah. I mean, this is the first tokenized football club. It's the first digitally fan owned and controlled club. Our goal is to make this club a success, make this token sale a success, and make sure that people hear about it, people are able to buy into it, and are able to control the future of the club. Once the club we move the club into its new entity, once the token holders become beneficial owners, the club will belong to the token holders. The token holders will be able to elect the chairman. The chairman will be able to spend the funds raised through the token sale, along with all of the revenues generated by the club in the future. Our responsibility as Alpha FC is how do we increase revenue streams for this club and for every club that will launch in the future. So one of the ways that we're doing that is by launching on-chain auctions for sponsorships. So you'll be able to, to go on the Alpha FC platform, to see a digital representation of the pitch, to click on a pitch side billboard and to buy it or bid on it. Same thing with sponsorships in the future. So this year, obviously, we have Phantom, Radium, and Bonk sponsoring the club on the kit. But down the line, we expect anyone to be able to bid on these sponsorships. Same thing for the stadium sponsorship. Right now, we have Solana, which we're very excited about. We had 2,500 users vote on what to name the stadium, and it got named Solana Stadium, which is fantastic. But down the line, that's another lever where clubs will be able to generate more revenue on Alpha FC than in traditional ownership and engagement structures.
Yeah, I voted as well, Solana Stadium. I remember it was a few months back.
Love that.
Since we are talking of football, I love football. I'm from a small club here in Argentina. I love it's Reds. So you got me in 1 second with the Reds and the crypto tokenization football club coming from the downside of the table of the leagues. So you say you want to make this football club successful, and I think a successful football club need, of course, great players. And so do you have in mind, I don't know, really, I used to play Football Manager in, I think with Wimbledon was the club, I don't know, and to escape positions.
AFC Wimbledon?
Yeah, I think
that's actually one of the largest fan-owned clubs in the UK.
Nice.
At the moment. Yeah.
Nice. So, how is the level of, what is the level of the players right now with another, if you see, I don't know, another leagues in the world, with what clubs you compare the level of the players, and do you think on scouting young talents and around the world? Do you have some plans from this to create a better club with better players coming from the young people? Do you have plans for this? Because here in Argentina, and I think around the world, the best clubs are the ones that bring players from their I don't know how to say cantera, but from your seeds, your roots of the club. So, do you think something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So you mean like development academies?
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, there are a lot of really good players on the third world, like here. If you go to the neighborhoods that are really poor, and so if you start really scouting talents around the world, I think any club can start racing in a table. It's just having good players.
Exactly. And I think, there's the interesting thing is the more research that I've done and the closer that I've gotten to the game, the more you learn that it really is, are the players talented? Are they going to work hard? And are they going to work together? Ultimately, that's what'll win games of football. And so you need a manager that's going to do all those things. Analytics in a sport like baseball, you can find players that have a high on base percentage, and then you're going to score more runs, and that's Moneyball. But in football, analytics is so much more of a black box that those three things are really what's most important. And so where you're getting your players from, where you're getting your talent from, and what you're paying for it is really the most important thing. And then finding a good manager that's going to make those players work hard. So for this club, for Alfreton, I don't expect to be the chairman long term. When we're ready to, when the supporters and the digital owners are ready to elect a new chairman, I'll step down. But the manager that we've brought in, Jake Buxton, is fantastic. The players played extremely hard for him. He ran the academy at Derby County at the championship level. So he specializes in developing players and working with young players, and I think that's something that's super important. To answer your question about where would you compare this league, the National League North, to elsewhere in the world, I'd say you're probably looking in Italy at a Series C. If you to draw another comparison, like to the US, I would say several years ago, the club would be close to comparable with many of the teams in the MLS. At this point, the MLS has undergone such fantastic growth that that those teams are comparable with league clubs in the EFL or even at the championship level in some cases. So to win at this level, to get promoted, you need to spend a lot, and the amount that these teams spend varies from level to level. I would say at the level below us, there are some teams that are spending close to £1 million a year on players. At our level, it ranges probably from £300,000-400,000 up to up to £1.5 million, £2 million. So it's a lot cheaper to stay in a league than it is to get promoted. That's why when you look at a club like Wrexham, they had to bring in TikTok sponsorships. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds used their fame to generate a huge amount of income for the club, and they were able to achieve incredible things. I think that the question here is, are a couple of millionaires having a midlife crisis going to be more effective than thousands of digital owners that are working together using crypto for capital formation? And that's the question that we're asking, and we're hoping that that we get a really positive answer.
I agree with that. I already this is not a financial advice, of course, but I already committed some of my money to the race. And while we talk, I have some feelings I should put a little more, but yeah, it's hard here on Argentina. And I also going to ask you later, like, there is going to be a way, but because cryptocurrency is worldwide, you are going to have holders and fans around the world with this. There will be an easy way to get merch. I mean, I want a jersey. I want to get out here on the street and have a Reds jersey. I will need tokens for that, or just my credit card. How it will work?
Yeah, right now you can go to alphafc.xyz and then navigate to the shop panel, and that'll redirect you to a Shopify shop where all of the shirts are available for purchase, and those are in red, in white, and in Phantom purple. We also expect to have those in the Phantom merch shop pretty soon. Currently working on that, which is exciting. But yeah, feel free to go and purchase one now, and for next season, the token holders will actually be able to both submit options for fan design kits and then vote on what those kits are going to be, which is really exciting. And there'll be prizes for whoever designs the kit that's actually played in for the season.
Nice. I'm going right now to the page. I already have open, so I'm going to the shop page. I love jerseys. I have a lot of jerseys of football. I think Bukan also here is a big fan and have a lot of jerseys. Yeah, I would love to have. This is one of the most epic jerseys I'm going to have. I plan to have. No, I don't know if I can each season, but the best season you need to have it. Let me think. You can ship worldwide, right? With Shopify, it's if I ask tomorrow. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they ship out from the UK.
Nice. So I think we have covered covered pretty well everything. Do you want to add something more here? Like, it's a fair space. We are chilling and having good. It's not like a formal interview. But I want to know a lot of things about Alpha, and thank you for joining here. I think this is going to be a pretty much listener space. And yeah, so do you want to add something more here before we close and wrap up everything?
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on. It's been an exciting conversation, and I love the excitement about the concept. I think the message to everyone should be, have you ever wanted to own a sports team? Have you ever wanted to own a football club? To anybody that finds the concept interesting, I'd say this is your opportunity to be involved in something at the ground level that is doing something truly novel within crypto, within sports, within tech. I think looking at the environment right now, there aren't a whole lot of things that are exciting in RWAs, which I would say is where we lie. You're looking at tokenized treasuries, tokenized stocks. This is the first tokenized sports team in a real league with a real pathway. So I would say if this interests you, get in on the sale and join us and join our community of digital owners, and let's build the future of this football club together.
Amazing. Thank you very much. You can visit the webpage on the profile of Alpha FC. The race is public right now. There is $132, I think, $1,000 already committed. The race goal is 1 million and is ending in a little less than 48 hours, 2 days more. It's ending the Sunday, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, hope we can have more conversations in the future, because I really love this way of bringing and onboarding. At the same time, you are onboarding fans club of the club that already are people who live in the city. I mean, they will start to see some news, and already started probably about the club. So I think this is bullish for the entire crypto space. Thank you, really, thank you for doing this. I didn't see a lot of founders and people trying to bring this to life. I would love to see more and more clubs having crypto with ownership and governance. Yeah, so I think, Bukan, please, if you want to say something else more, and do you want to close the space, or I do it? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, definitely. I can close it out. Again, thank you so much for coming. This is like super exciting. I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. We're already chatting in Telegram for some new activations, some other things. I want to support you because I'm gonna also be a part owner of the club, right? So I want to support, and I think you're doing something amazing. I'm a massive football fan. Messi is a massive football fan as well, and just really excited for what's going to be next. I thank you again for coming, everyone. Thank you for coming. Echo, Tia, Obina, Bartega, Augustine, Heisenberg, we go Heisenberg, Vincent, and Keith, Maddie, Dagan. Thank you guys for coming here. Well, we had some amazing takes. We're going to be sharing the next 2 days some clips on Twitter and on Instagram, on other socials. So thank you for coming to Ownership Report. Messi, I'm going to let you close it out. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, brother. I hope you are having fun. And everyone, thank you for joining again. Please, if you are listening this after the space closes, no matter, you can quote the post, like, retweet, reply, everything helps to get us visibility. We are going to keep supporting Alpha FC, I think, with my friend Bukan in the future after the TCA. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alpha FC, again. Thank you, Will. And let's win. Let's play football and let's win.
Let's win. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Messi. Thanks, Buchan. Thanks, everyone that joined. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Peace.